Hiya, welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, where I share my passion of video games with the whole wide world. In this Sonic Superstars live stream, I am trying for the Platinum. So, sit back, relax, but as always, and more importantly, enjoy the live stream. And this live stream features Sonic cosplaying as Shadow. Yeah, that's actually a thing now in Sonic Superstars. So yeah, you may have heard that Shadow the Hedgehog has come to Sonic Superstars, but it's not what you think. You don't get to play as Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic Superstars. It's just Sonic cosplaying as Shadow. It's a Shadow costume basically, which is kind of disappointing considering that Shadow is actually coming to. I must have been dreaming. But is Shadow the Hedgehog coming to? No, it's I keep getting mixed up. The updated Sonic Generations that's coming out this year. You'll be able to play as Shadow the Hedgehog in that game. But no, unfortunately, in Sonic Superstars, it's just a Shadow costume for Sonic. Although I wonder, can you have a Shadow costume for the rest of the characters? I doubt it. Anyway, the focus of this live stream is me trying to get the Platinum in Sonic Superstars. I need one trophy left. I have to get 100 medals in bonus stages. So I'm just going to get my live stream started out and then I'll be right back. By the way, this Platinum has a completion rate of, I think it's 0.4%, which is pretty rare indeed. I'll confirm that for you. Yeah, ultra rare, 0.4% of players earned the Platinum in Sonic Superstars. Can you believe that? So there it is, the Shadow costume. Yeah, so it's Sonic cosplaying as Shadow. You know, I actually heard a theory about Sonic and Shadow a couple of weeks ago, and I'm starting to believe it now, to be honest. Because, why would Sonic want to cosplay Shadow? I mean, you don't see Tails cosplaying as him, or Knuckles, or Tails. Shit. Actors. What the fuck? So that's what it looks like. So you can clearly see you're still playing as Sonic. You can see his big fat face, but he's inside a Shadow costume. So I'm going to go back to the very first zone, Bridge Island Zone, stick to Act 1, and just keep spamming the bonus stages until I get 100 medals. I collected a lot so far, so I should be well on my way to reaching 100 medals by now. So I'm not starting from scratch, just to let people know. So like I won't be starting from 0. If I had to guess, I'd say I would like to say that I have more than 50 medals so far. So I'm definitely halfway there. Okay, first bonus stage of the live stream. Well, that's easy enough. Imagine the very first medal of the live stream was the last. Ooh, shit, that's close. Ah, you bastard. Well, that's one medal. So now we'll just restart the act all over again and just basically rinse and repeat until I get enough medals to get the trophy and then therefore to get the platinum. The platinum that has a 0.4% completion rate. So you can actually see this cosplay a bit clearer here. Oh shit. And in typical Green Hill Gaming fashion, the second I go live, I get the hard bonus stages. Okay, honestly, the second I go live, this game gives me the hard bonus stages. Typical. That's the third time in a row that to give me this bonus stage. I think they're supposed to be randomly generated. Oh, I see. Fuck. There was one at least. I don't really care if I get all three in the bonus stage. It's just as long as I get a medal, as long as I can add to my medal count. I need a total of 100, and I've taken a lot of medals so far in the game. Again, like I'm not starting from scratch, like, so it's not that bad. Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh bollocks! Well, I got 2. You know, 2 instead of 0. Wait, what? I thought I got 2. Never mind. Ignore me. I'm half asleep. Fuck. Oh fuck. That's not. Oh, you bastard. What the fuck? Maybe. You know, all those years ago when Sonic Adventure released, and all of us were, well, I wasn't, because I was the PlayStation guy back then, but when a lot of people were playing Sonic Adventure on their Dreamcast, and, you know, maybe as well they were playing like some Spyro on their PlayStation, who would have thought that someday we'd all be playing Sonic the Hedgehog on PlayStation? Because back then, Sega and PlayStation were competitors. Sega had the Dreamcast, Sony had the PlayStation. But here we are now playing Sonic on the PlayStation, and Sega no longer make consoles. I'm going somewhere with this, don't worry. I'm actually convinced that, you know, Phil Spencer and Xbox are just in denial. That and the fact that they're having like an identity crisis. Basically, in layman's terms, they're having a fucking clue what they're doing and what they're saying. You know, at least Sega like knew what was going on with their business and knew what they needed to do, and that was to leave the console business and put all of their games on other platforms, and that has worked out to be hugely successful for Sega all these years later, hence why we're playing Sonic the Hedgehog on PlayStation. But here we have Microsoft, Xbox, whose hardware sales are an absolute joke, which is why they had to come up with Game Pass. And now they're starting to put their exclusives on other platforms, PlayStation, Nintendo hardware. But then they're saying that, oh, our next Xbox is going to see the biggest leap in gaming history. So they want us to get excited for their next console. They want us to buy their next console. But then they're saying, you know what, you actually don't even need a console because you can play our games in Game Pass. And then they're saying, oh, you know what, you can only get Game Pass on Xbox because we're not going to put Game Pass on PlayStation and Switch. But then they're saying, oh, but don't worry about that because we're going to put 4 exclusive Xbox games on your Switch. Now, if that doesn't sound like a company that has a fucking identity crisis, I don't know what the fuck the definition of an identity crisis is. They're just really funny at this stage. I don't know who Xbox think they are. I mean, I respect companies that march to the beat of their own drum, hence Nintendo. They've been doing that for years now, you know, from the Wii onwards, or was it the DS onwards, when they decided not to really care about specs and focus on, you know, innovation and fun and, you know, games. And that's fine. But who do Xbox think they are to completely like tell people what the gaming industry is and how consoles should be sold? And yeah, like here's the thing, right? And here's the way it's always been. You have a console, and you have a console manufacturer like Nintendo. So take the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is the only place where you can play The Legend of Zelda. If you want to play Zelda, you buy a Switch. That's called... The Legend of Zelda is called a first party exclusive. And you're not going to be playing first party exclusives on other hardware. That's just the way it's always been. It's games that sell hardware. And yeah, it's games that sell hardware. So that's a big thing as well. Like, I mean, you want to sell your hardware. Like, obviously, like Nintendo and Sony, they want to sell hardware, and obviously their games is what drives the sales of that hardware, and that's the way it's always been. But here you have Xbox coming along and saying, oh, you know what, we don't really care about hardware sales, it doesn't matter, we don't really care about making big games, it doesn't really matter, all that matters is Game Pass that we're not going to put on PlayStation or Switch, you know. But then they're putting their Xbox exclusive games on other hardware. Like, it's just so funny to see this company go through such a bizarre identity crisis, and also to be in complete denial of the fact that their hardware business is dead. Like, if Game Pass is their future, if they don't care about hardware sales, if they're saying that you don't have to have an Xbox to play Xbox, then why are they hyping up the next Xbox? So I just think that they operate in a very strange way that I've never really seen before and that I don't really understand. because the way they're hyping up the next console is the way they should be. That's the way that console companies should be acting. You know, the way they were talking about their next Xbox, seeing the biggest leap in gaming history, that's what you want. You want people to see that. You want people to say, holy fuck, I want to own that console. But also, and more importantly, what you want is, you want a game like Halo. You want a game like Gears of War. You want a game like Fable, right? That complements that hardware. So you want to see that amazing leap with amazing games. And keeping those games on that hardware. But that's not what's happening, is it? Because what's happening is Phil Spencer on Xbox saying you don't even need to have a console. You can play our games day one on Game Pass. But you can only get Game Pass, you know, through like Microsoft services. You can't have Game Pass on PlayStation. You can't have Game Pass on Nintendo. But then they're turning around and saying we're putting 4 Xbox exclusives on Nintendo and PlayStation hardware. Really strange. What Xbox should be doing is just leaving the console business, right? And either putting Game Pass on everything, right? Or else just putting all their games on other platforms, like Sega did. They're in denial. Basically, Microsoft, you need to look in the mirror and accept that you're basically the next Sega. You're the modern day Sega. You know, and it's funny hearing the fanboys, the Xbox fanboys, defend this and say, oh, well, it's all about money at the end of the day. They're going to make more money by putting their games on our platforms. Correct. Just like Sega did when they put Sonic on Nintendo and PlayStation, PC. Correct. But you didn't see Sega wasting money on trying to do multiple things at the same time and being in complete denial and having a complete identity crisis. You know? If Microsoft and Xbox want to put their games on other platforms to make more money, go ahead. But you can't be expected to hype up your next console and get people to buy your console while at the same time saying you don't need one by hyping up Game Pass, but then saying that you don't even need to interact at all with Xbox because you can play our games on Switch and PS5. I think they should just pick one. You know, either have a massive comeback with your next console and try to sell that hardware and try to complement that hardware with good, engaging software, or forget about hardware and focus and go all up with Game Pass, improve Game Pass to the point where you can have Game Pass on anything. Basically, Game Pass could become the modern day like Sega, because obviously like when Sega left the console industry there was no streaming technology, there was nothing like that. So yeah, Game Pass should be on everything, and basically like no matter what console you have, no matter how you play your games, you basically have Xbox on everything. Or just do what Sega did years ago and just basically publish Xbox games on every console. But they're not doing that. They're just having this really bizarre Identity Crisis, and I just got the platinum in Sonic Superstars. Emerald Expert, Sonic Superstars, platinum. And the platinum, once again, has a completion rate of, why can't I check it now? Yep, 0.4% of players earned this. Well, I was actually planning on having some more content now, to be honest with you, but well, what I should do now is rename this live stream, change it from trying to get the platinum to just getting the platinum. And I think I'll talk more about Xbox because I'm actually going to be enjoying it now, to be honest with you. Well, even though I've pretty much said everything. That needs to be said on the topic, really. I keep forgetting how to edit. Oh, there we go. History. We go edit. That's nice now. I actually get a platinum in Sonic Superstars that has a completion rate of 0.4%. I love getting trophies that have such a rare completion rate, such a low and rare completion rate. You know, it just makes it that much more special, you know, than just getting a game that's like 99 cents at the store. That's like called like Purple Smurple Adventures, and it's like 20 minutes long, and you just literally press start and you got a platinum, you know, just to add to your platinum library. I like games that take a lot of time, that have a lot of grinding to it, and that has a rare completion rate. So quite proud now of my my platinum. But no, you know, Xbox used to mean something back in the day. When it debuted in, what was it, 2002? When it like released alongside like PS2 and the GameCube, like it became the third console. And it kind of took off where Dreamcast left off. Because Sega Dreamcast was way ahead of its time and introduced us to amazing visuals, online play, right? And I think Xbox really kind of like took those two elements and really kind of capitalized on them and made them the focus point of their Xbox. Amazing visuals, online multiplayer, right? Major part of the original Xbox. Also, it was also intended to bring like PC-like games, PC quality games, you know, to a home console. that was kind of like the very early stages of the Xbox's concept. And look, we got games like Halo, we got games like Gears of War and Fable, right? Games that established the Xbox brand, you know, like Sega had Sonic, you know, Streets of Rage, Comic Zone, Shinobi. Nintendo, you know, had Mario, Zelda, Metroid. Sony had like, you know, Gran Turismo, you know, God of War. Eventually came to the PS2. You know, and when Xbox came to the market, it had Halo, Gears of War, Forza, Fable, right? So Xbox became a brand. It became the third console. It meant something. People wanted to buy Xbox hardware. They liked the hardware. One of the things you could actually do on the original Xbox was actually like, not only could you listen to music on the Xbox, you could listen to music on the PS1 as far back as then, right? But with the Xbox, you could actually save, you could actually burn your CDs onto your Xbox, full albums, right? But not only that, you could listen to that music while you were playing your games. In fact, the Xbox version of San Andreas actually took it one step further, and you could actually go to a special radio station in San Andreas that you could listen to your custom music. So if you had, like, you know, I think that back in the day, like, you know, if you had like Eminem or fucking Linkin Park, you know, Limp Bizkit, whatever, you know, albums burnt onto your Xbox hard drive, because the Xbox actually had a built-in hard drive. PS2 didn't have this. Nintendo sure as fuck didn't have this. But Xbox did. So yeah, driving around San Andreas on your Xbox, listening to your custom soundtrack. That was something that the Xbox hardware could do. Outside of Grand Theft Auto, I mean, you were playing games like Halo, but on online, smooth online connection. I mean, Xbox Live meant something back then. You know, it was a really good online service. The Xbox 360, right, continued. You know, the success of the original. And we all know that the Xbox 360 has arguably one of the best library of games ever. You know, more Halo games, more Gears of War games, Fable, Horizon, along with others. I'm not really an Xbox guy. I haven't really played Xbox, but I do know that the Xbox 360 just expanded upon Xbox's first-party library. And again, people wanted to buy the Xbox 360. They wanted to buy a 360 for its online multiplayer. They wanted to play the 360 for its visuals, for its first-party games. And obviously, like, along with other consoles, obviously they bought a PlayStation, they bought a Nintendo, along with their Xbox. But people wanted to buy the Xbox hardware for its hardware, you know, and for its library of games. And it sold extremely well as well. The 360 sold very well. The original Xbox sold very well as well before it. See, things went downhill, you know, sales-wise, reputation-wise, with the Xbox. Hello, Amy. With the Xbox One, because when it was originally announced, Microsoft were saying that the Xbox One needed to be online only, and that ruined the reputation of not only Xbox One, but I think Xbox. And I don't think Xbox has ever been able to recover from that, to be quite honest with you. But like, that's when we started to see, I think, a massive like decline, in my opinion, in terms of like Xbox kind of like even establishing new IPs, because like PlayStation have established new IPs. I mean, we have Horizon. This is the new IP. I'm thinking of like the Xbox One generation here now. So Xbox One, PS4 generation. We got Detroit Become Human. You know, we got Astrobot. You know, we got these new IPs from PlayStation. Nintendo gave us new IPs like ARMS, Splatoon. They're on that generation as well, right? 1 through Switch. Love it or hate it, doesn't matter. It's a new IP. But Xbox just didn't really give us any new IPs, and even their current IPs, they didn't really do much with them. I know we're into the Xbox Series, and it's like, I mean, it's absolutely amazing just how little, you know, of these like iconic, you know, Xbox IPs have actually come to the system. And people haven't been buying. Well, I should point out the Xbox One sold absolutely shite. In fact, they stopped tracking sales. Now, don't you find it kind of ironic that the one time that Microsoft stopped tracking hardware sales was when they weren't selling? Do you know what I mean? They were quite happy to track hardware sales with the Xbox 360. They were quite happy to track hardware sales of the original Xbox. But as soon as the Xbox doesn't sell well, we don't like to keep track of hardware sales. We don't think it matters. So once hardware sales dropped, and once they didn't really have that many games, then along comes Game Pass. And it's like, oh, you know, all these old games from the original Xbox, the 360, and you know, all these third-party games that are on our consoles. Well, we're going to put all them together in a thing called Game Pass. We don't even have to have a console anymore. You know the way you don't want to buy an Xbox? Don't worry about it. You don't have to have an Xbox. Just get Game Pass. You have it on PC. You can have it on your phone. You can have it on your tablet, your laptop, whatever. And that's been Xbox's bread and butter now for a long time. It's like they don't even care if we get a new Gears of War, or you know, if we get a new Fable or a new IP from Microsoft. They don't even care. It's like, you know, look, we've got Game Pass. You can get these third-party games day one. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine. Here's where things get confusing, because if that was their bread and butter, if that was their future, Game Pass was their future, don't worry about consoles, don't worry about new exclusive coming to our consoles, just get Game Pass. If that was their bread and butter, then we can't ignore the acquisitions as well. I mean, it's pure desperation. Like, instead of actually focusing on making your own games, you know, here they go and acquire other companies, you know, and say, oh, we now own Doom. We now own Call of Duty. We now own Overwatch. You might own them, you don't make them. You know, it's a desperation. I've said it since the start. It's pure desperation on the part of Xbox, right there. But the thing is, like, it just gets really, really confusing. When you're putting those games on other hardware, because isn't Hi-Fi Rush one of the games that's rumored to be coming to other platforms, and wasn't that made by Bethesda, if I'm not mistaken? So it's just so contradictory. You know, they don't know what they're doing. You know, and they're also hyping up the next console as well, as I mentioned. You're hyping up your next console, but then you're saying you don't need to buy a console. Imagine being a company that says, here's a new console, you should get hyped for this, it's going to have a massive generational leap, but you don't need a console. I just think Xbox is just going through this weird phase where they don't really know who they are, they don't really know what they're doing, and and it's kind of embarrassing to watch, really. To be quite honest with you, it's quite embarrassing to watch. Yeah, that was a pretty long conversation, really. It's just as I'm playing Sonic on PlayStation, it just kind of reminded me of like how far Sega has come. You know, from the failure of Dreamcast to being one of the biggest video game publishers and developers of all time. And now we can play Sonic on any platform. And you know, they're just getting started. I mean, they're going to have like a renaissance there now this year, because they're bringing back a brand new Comic Zone, Shinobi. You know, all the classic games are like coming back. They're getting new entries, and they'll be on multiple platforms as well. That's what Xbox should be doing, like, but they're not. Okay, I'm done with the gameplay right now, to be honest with you. But delighted I got the platinum, though, to be honest. I wasn't too sure like how long it would take to get the platinum in Sonic Superstars, but Xbox. I kind of love talking about Xbox because they're just so intriguing. They really are. Didn't they say something in yesterday's podcast? You know, the kind of the business podcast thingy-majig that they held yesterday, where they announced that they're bringing 4 Xbox games to other platforms. They didn't announce what those games were, but yeah, 4 Xbox games will be coming to other platforms. Didn't they say something along the lines of Xbox is everywhere, or Xbox is for everyone, you can play Xbox everywhere? But they're literally contradicting themselves then, because then they go on to say that Game Pass won't be available on PlayStation or Switch. Like, it's just daft. It's daft to think that you have the Switch, which is essentially a screen. You undock your Switch, it's a screen. You undock the Switch, remove the Joy-Cons, and you've got a screen. You can literally put Game Pass on that. Nintendo owners are already signing into Xbox Live when they're playing Minecraft on their Switch. So the concept of signing into Xbox Live on a Switch isn't alien, it's happening right now. If I decided to get Minecraft on Switch, I would have to create and sign into my Xbox Live account on my Switch to play Minecraft, Switch Edition. So it's not an alien concept, it's already there. So Game Pass can easily be on Switch, or PlayStation for that matter. It doesn't really matter where you play it. So Xbox, again, it goes back to what I said probably early on in this live stream. They're having such a bizarre identity crisis, and they're in complete denial of their failure as a hardware manufacturer, and they still are a hardware manufacturer, because all these people that say, oh well, you know, Microsoft, they don't care about hardware anymore, it isn't about hardware anymore, it's all Game Pass now. Well then why are they hyping up their next console? Because in this podcast they spoke about this console, and they spoke about that it's going to have the biggest generational leap in the gaming history. So they want people to buy hardware. So they haven't completely abandoned hardware. That's what's funny about this. So that's what's really funny about this. They're doing two different things at the same time, and it's just really bizarre. So yeah, in this podcast they held yesterday, they were saying that Xbox is everywhere, but it's not true, because if Xbox is everywhere, you'd have Game Pass everywhere, because Game Pass is Xbox. Really is bizarre. Like, why are they contradicting themselves? Why are they saying we're bringing 4 Xbox games to other platforms? but you still should go away and buy the next Xbox. Like, why? It's really weird. But it's kind of done in a very strange kind of way because Indiana Jones and Starfield are going to remain Xbox Series exclusives. And as I mentioned, Xbox Live is going to remain on Xbox as far as console is concerned. You can still play Game Pass on phone or a tablet or computer, smart TV, whatever it might be, right? But as far as console is concerned, you would only be able to play Game Pass on your Switch, or sorry, on your Xbox, right? So the games that they're bringing to the other platforms seem to be like smaller type games, right? So it's a bit like, it's, you know what, no, it's a bit like if PlayStation decided to bring, let's say like Sackboy to like Switch or something like that, you know? Like, it's not like they're bringing God of War, you know, or Gran Turismo to like Xbox or Switch. So it'd be like if Nintendo decided to bring, let's say, Xenoblade Chronicles to PlayStation. You know, it was something like that. Like, it wouldn't be as huge as like, oh my God, you can play Mario and Zelda and Metroid on Nintendo and PlayStation or PlayStation and Xbox right now. But there's still Xbox games though. There's still games. The more exclusives you can have as a company, then the more credit, the more value your gaming company has. So it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I mean, Xbox have lost the run of themselves. They don't have a clue what the hell they're doing anymore. Like, there used to be a time where like a console manufacturer would ensure that, you know, this console is the home for this game, for that game, no matter how big, no matter how small. You know, this is the only console where you can play A, B, C, D, E, or F, right? And the hardware would complement the software as well. You know, people would want to buy the hardware for what it can do and how it can enhance the games. So hardware was huge. Like, if you could, yes, it's great that you can play Game Pass anywhere, but if you're just going to boot up your, you know, your Xbox Game Pass games on a regular like PC with a regular controller, then like there's nothing special happening there with hardware. I mean, if you're playing Switch, okay, you've got like, you know, obviously like the whole point of Switch is like it's a kind of like a hybrid thing. So, you know, you can be playing in front of your TV, you can play on the go. Obviously the Joy-Cons and how they're operating, you know, like motion control built in, you know, HD rumble and stuff. If you're playing on PlayStation, you got adaptive triggers and haptic feedback and stuff like that, and 3D audio as well. But you're not getting anything like that if you're playing Game Pass on just, you know, your laptop, computer screen, or whatever else it is. So you just, yeah, and this whole like not giving a fuck about exclusives and just putting your exclusives on other platforms. I think the young generation are going to be really like, I don't think they're going to care. I think they're just going to be, they're not going to be confused. I think we're the ones that are going to be confused. And when I say we're, I mean, you know, people who kind of grew up in the 90s, early 2000s of gaming. We're going to be the ones that are going to be confused if Xbox keep this going forward. You see, I think young generation gamers, I think they don't quite fully understand the difference between a first-party exclusive and a third-party exclusive. A first-party exclusive is a game that is either developed and published by, or developed or published by the actual company that manufactures the actual console. Does that make sense? So if you're talking about Xbox, okay, like the company that creates Halo is owned by Xbox, right? It's owned by Xbox. The company that makes Minecraft is owned by Xbox. No, Minecraft is obviously on multiple platforms, as well. That's kind of one of the biggest kind of Xbox games that they decided to bring to multiple platforms. It's just so silly. That's just something I actually want to focus on really. Look how big Mario is. Look how big Zelda is. Nintendo owned those games. When Microsoft acquired, and Minecraft was huge. Minecraft was fucking massive. When Microsoft acquired Minecraft, I honestly think they should have kept it in Xbox. Because it was one of the, and it still is one of the biggest games of all time. Phil Spencer should have said, the only way, the Xbox is the home of Minecraft. That's what Phil Spencer and Xbox should have done. Xbox is the home of Minecraft. You want to play Minecraft, play it on Xbox. I think Phil Spencer is too friendly for a business. He's too friendly to lead a console business. I think he'd be a great person to sit down, have a few drinks with, chill out with, game with, and just really have a good time from the point of view of a gamer perspective. But I just don't think he has what it takes. On all due respect to the man, I just don't think he has what it takes to compete in the console industry. He can take part in the console industry, but to compete in the console industry, I don't think he has what it takes. Imagine the amount of revenue Xbox could have made. Imagine the amount of hardware that Xbox could have sold if they had actually made Minecraft only on Xbox. But anyway, to go back to what I was saying about, and I'm going to end the live stream by telling the difference between what a first-party exclusive and what the difference between a first-party exclusive and third-party exclusive is. So again, first-party exclusive is basically like Mario and Zelda. Right? Both of those games are developed and published by Nintendo, and Nintendo is the company that makes Nintendo hardware, obviously. So you will only get those games on Nintendo. That's how it's been done for years. That's what a first-party exclusive is. So it's not really common, and it's not really expected, and it's not really normal to have first-party games on other hardware. Okay? Then you have third-party exclusives, which are different, because usually third-party games are available on multiple platforms. But there is times where a third-party exclusive will be exclusive to a console. So you're thinking of like you be talking about like Final Fantasy VII remake and Final Fantasy VII remake rebirth, whatever it's called, right? They're all exclusive to PlayStation, but Square Enix is the company that makes the game, and Square Enix isn't first party. Square Enix can make their games on multiple platforms. They're a multi-platform company. Okay, that's the way it's been for years. Because when Final Fantasy and Metal Gear Solid came to PlayStation, they were only on PlayStation, right? Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 were only on PlayStation and PlayStation 2, right? Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and 4 were only on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, right? But the companies that make those games, Square Enix and Konami, are third-party developers. They usually put their games on multiple platforms. So like the thing is, what's going to happen with the younger generation of gamers is they're not going to understand, and they're just going to say like, oh, why can't Mario be on PlayStation? Why can't Mario be on Xbox? I just think it's going to get really, really weird. I think Xbox are fucking up the industry. I think he started off by just wanting to bring gamers together. If he had just stuck with cross-platform play and cross-progression, I think that would have been enough. That would have been enough, I think. Anyway, I'll see happen. So I've got my platinum Internet Superstars. Happy with that. I'm going to get some sleep now. Thanks very much for watching the live stream, and I will see you next time on Green Hill Gaming.